Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
You ever notice how one injury can throw an entire organization into chaos? The Mets just got hit with that reality, and what they're doing about it might surprise you. Francisco Lindor needs surgery. Not just any surgery, but one to repair a hamate bone in his hand. If you've followed baseball long enough, you know that's not a minor thing. This is the kind of injury that can sideline a guy for weeks, maybe longer, and we're talking about the Mets starting shortstop here, the face of their infield, the guy making $34 million a year. So yeah, this is a problem. The Mets are saying Lindor could be back around opening day. Could be. That's the key phrase there, because with injuries like this, you never really know. Surgery has to go well, recovery has to go smoothly, and then he's got to get back into game shape. That's a lot of variables, and any one of them can push that timeline back. The team knows this, the fans know this, and you better believe Carlos Mendoza knows this. Mendoza is the manager, and he's the one who has to figure out what happens next. Spring training is already underway. Guys are taking their reps, working on timing, getting their bodies ready for the grind of 162 games. Except now, Mendoza has a hole at shortstop and limited time to figure out how to fill it. So, naturally, people started asking questions. What's the backup plan? Who steps in? Do they move someone around? The most obvious answer seemed pretty clear to a lot of people. Bo Bichette, the guy they just signed this offseason, the guy who played shortstop for years in Toronto, the guy who knows the position inside and out. Why wouldn't you just slide him over there until Lindor gets back? Makes sense, right? Wrong, at least according to Mendoza. SNY reported this week that Mendoza shut down that idea pretty quickly. He said moving Bichette back to shortstop is not on the table right now, not being considered, not part of the plan. His exact words were, "As of right now, that is not on the table." And then he added something interesting. He said Bichette is a guy who's played shortstop, so if they get to that point, the transition wouldn't be hard. But right now, they need to get him comfortable at third base. That's where he's going to be getting his defensive work. So let's break that down. The Mets signed Bichette knowing he was a shortstop. They knew his entire career up to this point had been at that position. But they also had Lindor, and Lindor isn't going anywhere. So the decision was made to move Bichette to third base. It's a shift, but not an uncommon one. Plenty of shortstops have moved to third over the years. The skill set translates. Quick hands, strong arm, good reactions. All of that works at the hot corner. But here's the thing. Moving positions isn't just about physical ability. It's about comfort. It's about repetition. It's about knowing where to be on every single play without having to think about it. Bichette has been taking grounders at third, working on his footwork, getting used to the angles. And Mendoza doesn't want to interrupt that process. Even with Lindor out, even with a clear need at shortstop, the focus is still on getting Bichette ready for third base. That tells you something about how the Mets are thinking long-term. They're not panicking. They're not making a reactionary move just because Lindor got hurt. They've got a plan for Bichette, and they're sticking to it, at least for now. But here's where it gets interesting. Mendoza didn't completely close the door. He said it's not on the table right now, but he also acknowledged that if they get to that point, moving Bichette back wouldn't be that hard. So the option exists. It's sitting there in the background, just in case. If Lindor's recovery drags on, if opening day comes and goes, and he's still not ready, then maybe the conversation changes. Maybe Bichette gets the call to move back over. But that's a decision for later, not now. So what does that mean for the Mets in the meantime? It means they need another answer at shortstop. Someone has to take those reps. Someone has to fill that spot on the depth chart while Lindor is recovering. Mendoza and the front office will have to look at what they've got internally. Maybe it's a utility guy who can handle the position for a few weeks. Maybe it's a younger player who gets an opportunity to show what he can do. Maybe they even look outside the organization for a short-term solution. Whatever they decide, the clock is ticking. Spring training doesn't last forever. Games start soon, and the regular season is right around the corner. The Mets need to figure this out, and they need to figure it out fast. But what's also clear is that they're not going to rush into anything. They're not going to make a move just to make a move. Bichette is staying at third base because that's where they see him long term. And if that means finding someone else to fill in at shortstop for a few weeks, then that's what they'll do. It's a balancing act. You've got immediate needs and long-term goals, and sometimes those things don't line up perfectly. Right now, the Mets are betting on the long term. They're betting that Bichette will be more valuable to them at third base over the course of the season than he would be as a temporary fix at shortstop. And they're betting that Lindor will be back soon enough that this whole situation becomes a footnote. But injuries are unpredictable. Recovery timelines are unpredictable. And baseball, as we all know, has a funny way of not going according to plan. So while Mendoza says moving Bichette isn't on the table right now, the reality is that everything is always on the table. Plans change, situations evolve, and managers have to adapt. For now, though, the message is clear. Bichette is a third baseman. Lindor will be back when he's ready, and the Mets will figure out the rest as they go. Whether that's the right call or not, we'll find out soon enough. But one thing's for sure, this situation is going to be something to watch as we get closer to opening day.